Video is a smidge late. I apologize for that, but this is Acids and Bases, page 29. It has this big old table, right? We're not going to use the entire table. In fact, this column here that talks about litmus paper color, this column here that talks about litmus paper color, you can just cross those out. You do need to add one more box to the substance, to the pH paper, and to the pH of solution. The reason you need to add those boxes is because, actually I have 7 things to test. Soda, ammonia, vinegar, Tums. Nope, that's ammonia again. I'm missing my box. Oh, water. Water. I'm gonna grab some water. Hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. Now, the hydrochloric and the sodium hydroxide are a little dangerous, so those are going to be tested, or in class they were tested a little separately. I'm gonna grab some water while you cross out that other stuff. Not a ton of water, but enough. There's some in the beaker. Now, what we'll be using to test this is pH paper. Now, pH paper starts a certain color, right? And it is an indicator like the other indicators on your reference table. However, your reference table has indicators that change from one color to another. pH paper has many colors, which all correspond to different pHs. Right, now, I think it's pretty clear on there, but I can check. How clear is? Oh, that's pretty clear. Yeah, I can hold it there. Now, the reason you kind of need the pH numbers and the colors is because the color is going to go in one column, the number is going to go in the next. And the questions on the bottom, we're actually going to skip one of them because it has to do with the litmus paper. I'm not super bothered about the litmus paper. Now, I have the paper towel set up for my own easy cleanup. I'm going to set up just a few pieces of this pH paper. I don't need to use 7 pieces. I can actually get away with using 4 because I can use a drop on one half and then a drop on the other. I'll keep that there for just a second. The soda is going to be a little tricky. I think I'm going to cheat with the soda the tiniest bit. So I'll start with the soda. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this over until I can see it, and I'm going to dip it in. Right? And here is the color of the soda compared to the pHs, right? And I'm trying to hold it onto the side that it kind of makes the most sense to hold it on. Right? So there's the soda. And what I'll do is I will compare that to, let's say, ammonia. So I'm going to drop ammonia on the other side. So there's ammonia. Right, and you can see where it's kind of bleeding through, but ammonia on one side, soda on the other side. So you can tell what color, and you can kind of approximate what pH those are going to be. So we did soda, we did ammonia. I'm just going to keep going here. I'll use another strip. I'll get vinegar on one side. That has a very particular smell to it. Oh, that's interesting. I left the soda alone for long enough. I think I put it into, anyway. There's vinegar on one side. I'll do, this is the hydrochloric acid. So those are done. The hydrochloric acid is on this side. The vinegar is on this side. So there are your colors. I think you can see what those are. Did I have that in about the right spot? Yeah. Honestly, I'm not entirely. I'm just guessing. I might be a little too far over one way or the other. I'll do some of the other ones over now that I'm looking at it, which will require a little more pH paper, but that's not a big deal. This was the ammonia. All right, the ammonia was, runner. about that color. And that, there's the pH. Now the soda was a different color, and it kind of bled away there. I'm going to just very quickly dip another one in the soda, just so that you can see it. And hopefully it's actually on camera again. So there's the soda. Put this so the pHs are visible. There's the soda. I don't really know how you want to classify it, but it's about where it is. All right. Done that. Tums. Now, Tums is a kind of specific substance. There's Tums in the color scheme again. Oh, last two, I have water. This is water straight out of the tap. So, let that dry off a little bit. There's the water, straight out of the sink. Finally, I can hold this because I know it's just water. This is the sodium hydroxide, NaOH. I was trying to focus on specific numbers here because I know what they're supposed to be, but I know that the color might be a little off on the video. So if you don't get exactly the same ones, it's not a big deal. All right, this was mostly for my cleanup. Makes my life easier. Now, these questions, right? I'll talk about them right now. First question is, based on your own experience, what can you describe about lemon juice, orange juice, and vinegar that would make them acidic or basic? Like what characteristics? So if you look at the acids, bases notes, one of the first things that we said about acids and bases, acids were sour. So maybe not orange juice, but certainly lemon juice and vinegar are definitely sour. Right? So they are acidic because they are sour. Second question, based on the data collected, what kinds of substances have low pHs? Well, based on what you wrote down and knowing that hydrochloric acid is definitely an acid, low pHs are acids. Is water acid, base, or neutral? Well, it's supposed to be neutral, so it's neutral. Based on the data collected, what's the midpoint of the pH scale? It's almost certainly 7. And the reason it's almost certainly 7 is because that's halfway through the pH scale. Remember, the pH scale goes 0 to 14, and water is neutral, safe. Right? It's right at 7. Number 4. The presence of H+ makes something acidic. Based on the data, what substance has the greatest amount of H+? Which substance is the most acidic? Well, it's probably hydrochloric acid, because it was the lowest on the pH scale, at least according to what I saw. It was the most pink. It was closest to 1.0 on the pH scale, which is very, very acidic. Number 5 is the one that we are going to skip, because we didn't do anything with litmus paper. But number 6 talks about Mylanta and Pepto-Bismol, which are antacids, and they usually have a pH around 9 or 10. Now, when you have indigestion, if you have stomach pain, doctor, pediatrician, whoever might prescribe like either over-the-counter, which would be something like Mylanta or Pepto-Bismol, or perhaps a prescription antacid to try to ease your stomach, right? I want you to think about what it would do, and it says, the question says, be sure to mention acids or bases or pH in your answer. Now, your stomach is filled with acid. If you have too much acid, we would give you an antacid with a high pH in order to neutralize it. Now, a high pH means that it's probably a base, so the antacid uses a base to neutralize the acid in your stomach. And that's number 6. Right. Now, this lab, basically the 7 substances, their color, and their relative pHs, those questions, that's this lab, and that's all you should need. All right. Now, I think that's caught up. Please remember you do have a quiz on Tuesday. There are some practice questions up if you'd like to take a look at them. Otherwise, I will see you next time.